Hello everyone, Dimitri here, pornography addiction recovery coach and recovered addict. It's a beautiful day today in the Blue Mountains in Sydney in Australia, and today we're asking the question, is it okay to watch pornography? And we're going to answer that question in this video by asking more questions around different subtopics around this question. So this is a really broad question, right? So I want to refine it to what I'm going to address in this video today. There are several aspects involved. So pornography is a product. There's several aspects involved in that product: the consumption of pornography, which is you watching pornography; the production of pornography, which is the actors, the producers, the whole industry; and the mainstream sociological impact of pornography in society in general. So I'm only going to address the aspect of consuming pornography and not the other two. Okay, so it's about what's happening when you're watching pornography. What's happening to me when I'm watching pornography? Is it okay for me? And within that box, there is, well, first of all, pornography is also a broad term. There is not only one pornography, there is pornographies. Okay, there is gonzo pornography, there is amateur pornography, there is hentai, there is indie pornography, there is video games. Okay, there's all sorts of pornographies, but we're just going to address that as pornography as a whole. Now, within that, there's three aspects to consider to know if it's okay or not. And the first one is the moral aspect, the thing you think. Is it okay and how you think about it? The second aspect is the behavioral aspect, the thing you do. Is it okay and what it makes you do? And the third aspect is the emotional aspect. Is it okay and how it makes you feel? So I'm not going to talk about the emotional aspect today because that's yet a massive video to unpack, and I'll do that at a later time. But just as a subnote, this is talking about wounding and trauma and the link between the wounds you carry and the pornography you consume. I'm not doing that today. Super interesting. Not doing that today. So let's start with the moral aspect of things. Okay. You're probably feeling when you're watching pornography that you're weird. Maybe you think that, this is fucked up, that you're fucked up, that, that you're strange, that you're the only person who does that you know of, and you're feeling ashamed, and you're feeling misunderstood, and you're feeling alone. Okay? So I would like to remind you that pornography is the biggest source of traffic on the internet. You're not the only one. Not only are you not the only one to consume pornography, but everybody else in the world is doing it with you. Okay? Even the people who are preaching against it. 17% of the traffic on the internet is redirected to search engines. That's the first source of traffic. And the second source of traffic with 16% is pornography. Okay, so the whole world is really onto pornography. Of this 17% going to Google's and whatnot, or the search engines, 25% of that is going towards pornography. Okay, so the whole entire world is watching pornography with you. You're not alone, and everybody else is feeling the same, feeling strange and inadequate and ashamed for the most part. So you can let go of these feelings. They are not helping you. They are not informing you in any way. You don't need them. The second thing I want to tell you on the moral aspect of pornography, is it okay for you or not? Is it moral for you or not to watch pornography? Is that no one in the world can tell you if it is moral or not. Not even me, who's a recovered addict. Not even your priest or your rabbi or whoever, not even your parents, not even your friends. No one can tell you if it is. Because there's no authority above you that can tell you what is moral and what is not. People can indicate you, people can guide you, but they cannot tell you, okay? Let me share this with you here because this is one of the biggest breakthroughs I've had in my life when I was younger. No one is above you, okay? No one is above you to tell you what you should do or you should not do. You should be responsible in what you do, and you should have ownership and alignment in what you do, and no one's going to find that for yourself other than yourself. So people can guide you and give you opinions, and you can rely on these opinions, but no one can tell you what to do or what not to do. Okay, so having said that, what do you do now? Well, it's your responsibility if you want to be morally aligned with your watching pornography. It's your responsibility to consume pornography that you find is ethical. It's your responsibility to seek this information and to know if the pornography you consume is moral, ethical, or not. Now, 9 times out of 10, you will consume pornography that you know is not ethical. Okay, so that's the dilemma. What happens here? Because that's one of the thrills of pornography, is that it's bad, it's naughty, it's not ethical. So maybe that's part of the kink, maybe that's part of the heat that pornography has for you. And so what do you do with that? Okay. And if it's the case, then acknowledge it. Don't be in denial of it. You can acknowledge that, hey, the pornography I'm consuming is unethical, and because some part of me gets some heat out of that, some pleasure, some thrill. And so that's the situation. And then you can wonder how you deal with that situation. But at least if you acknowledge it, it's less pressure, or at least more acknowledgement of what's happening. So that's for the moral part. For the behavioral part, the things that it makes you do, is it okay to watch pornography? And this is where you have to be informed. Okay, this is where I'm giving you the pep talk that I wish I was given when I was 11 years old. I did receive the pep talk from my father, who said, don't go on these websites. And I didn't listen to him because I did not know. If he had told me why I should not go, I would have never gone onto these websites. But because he didn't tell me, he just told me you shouldn't do it, it did, to me, it didn't make a point, because I couldn't relate to that. Nobody's above you. No one can tell you what to do. They have to explain, inform you. Why not? So, behavioral aspect. Pornography is this really intense, really charged, really accessible, really taboo content that is super, super, super easy to find, and that will be like hit you as a stimulus into your brain and create this like chain reaction of chemicals and dopamine and whatnot to get you an instant high. So that's what you're playing with here. When we're talking about pornography, that is what you're dealing with here. So if I had known that as a child, I would have put that information into consideration and probably never watched it. In the same way that I've never drunk, smoked, or done any of the things. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. So pornography is taboo. Why is something taboo? Pornography is taboo not so much because it's bad. Something is not necessarily taboo because it's bad. Something is taboo because it's powerful. Something is taboo because it's powerful. And if it lands in the wrong hands, it becomes really harmful. If you give power to someone who's not well-intended, they're going to create a lot of chaos and havoc. If you give power to someone who's well-intended, they're going to create harmony and goodness. You narrow the frame of reference. So pornography is powerful. Just know that you're playing with a bomb in your hands. Is that what you want to do? When you're engaging with pornography, you're playing with a bomb. Is that what you want to do? If it is what you want to do, that's fine. Some people do that for a living. They defuse bombs. If that's what you want to do, then do that. Play with this bomb, learn it, watch it, do whatever you want with it. There's certain situations where you don't want to have this bomb in your hands, this bomb of pornography. There are three situations that I can think of. The first one, which is the biggest risk, is the risk of addiction. Okay, if you have an addictive personality like myself, or gene pack, whatever it is that you received in your metabolism that makes you highly susceptible to addictions, then definitely you're way, way, way better off pornography. Okay, some things will be more addictive than others for certain people. Overall, if you're of an addicted nature, you're so much better off staying off pornography. I knew that alcohol was addictive. I knew that drugs were addictive. I knew that all of this was addictive. So I never did any of this as a child because I had the awareness, even very young, that I had very low impulse control and I had an addictive nature. But I was never informed that sugar was addictive. And I was never informed that pornography was addictive, and to a broader extent, sex. And so I found myself becoming a sugar addict and sex addict and pornography addict because I didn't know any better. I didn't have the information, and I engaged in these behaviors and I found myself addicted. The second risk that you want to take into account is sexual dysfunction. Okay, pornography is going to rewire your brain in certain ways, and if you want to learn more about that, you can check yourbrainonporn.com, which is a really great scientific studies that have been led on this. It's going to rewire your brain to preferring pornography all the time to real sex, and it's going to create this like separate circuitry in your brain where your brain will think that real sex is pornography, and in comparison, real sex will be really bland. And that's going to cause a lot of problems. It's going to cause erectile dysfunction. It's going to cause premature ejaculation. It's going to cause delayed ejaculation. It's going to cause fixations and escalations into certain fetishes or kinks, etc., etc. So you don't want that to happen. So if you feel that you have a fragile sexual nature, or that the functioning of your sexual functions can be easily compromised, then definitely moving away from pornography, not engaging with pornography is a good idea. And the third risk to be taken into account is within your relationship. If you're someone who needs a relationship or who's not super emotionally stable or confident in their relationship, how are you going to approach pornography in your relationship? Is that something that's going to parasite your relationship? Are you going to be open about it and there's going to be some damage? Are you going to be secretive about it and there's going to be some damage? Will you be able to move away from pornography? Why do you consume pornography in the frame of your relationship and not implement these fantasies with your partner inside your relationship? Okay, and there's no judgment in me asking you all this. Is just some good questions to ask yourself so you can guide yourself in the direction of something that is making sense for you. Okay, so we took this a bit far, bringing it back to the main question here. Is it okay to watch pornography, right? If you understand that from a consuming aspect, and there's more things to be said on the production aspect and mainstream impact, etc., but on the consuming aspect, if you realize you have a bomb in your hands and you know how to handle this bomb, you know you have it within you, and you're informed of the risks and the damages, then sure, go ahead, knock yourself off. If it's meaningful for you, if you're hypersexual, if anything, you're someone who's sexually creative, you need that, and you think it's healthy, suit yourself. If this bomb is coming in the way of your real life, if it's taking away your power, if you feel ashamed about it, if it's out of control, if it's damaging your relationship, if it's damaging your health, damaging any aspect of your life, and you keep engaging with it, then there's a sign of addiction, there's a sign of dysfunction and misalignment, and then you're better off pornography. And you have to diffuse that bomb before it explodes. If you're in the addiction cycle already, the bomb is starting to tick. And when it hits zero is when your life is going to go to tears and pear-shape, and it'll be too late by then. So if you have this bomb in your hand and it's turned on already, what can you do to diffuse it? Okay, which is when I come in, I can help you here watching these videos. You can comment here if you'd like any help, or you can meet the men in our community, the accomplishment, etc., etc. So solution finding, which is another thing. But at least if you come to this acknowledgement, you've got this bomb in your hand, it's going to blow up to your face and destroy your life. This is the time where you know it's not okay to watch pornography. Okay, this is the least we can say here. So I hope this has been helpful. Some of these questions may be confronting, possibly, but there's no point in being in denial about what's happening. And the earlier you're informed about what's happening for you, the earlier you can take action before things go bad. I hope this was helpful, guys. Let us know in the comments if there's anything that comes to mind or to heart hearing these words. I wish you a beautiful day on earth. Take care.